All right, Coach. Week 4, a little different location here today on the field. Looking up at the beautiful stadium here as the field gets watered. Let's just get the bad stuff out of the way. We talked about this in other weeks. Catastrophic mistakes. We can't make it. It's hard enough when you're a good team, and you're experienced. But when you're young, it's hard to get a win when you make those kind of errors.
No question. We talked about it before about how we don't feel as if we're at the point in our program where we can make those errors and survive them. And Friday night was a typical example. A lot of mistakes. I said to the kids after the game, we made enough plays to win the game, and we certainly didn't make enough plays and had enough things go wrong where we didn't win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line. That's the fact. And you learn from the pain. This one held on longer than usual.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that situation twice before, very similar outcomes over the course of my career. Kids are resilient and bounce back, and we have to have a really good week of practice this week. And the game at Bangor becomes extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
But the correction, we worked hard to correct on film, correct on the field and walkthroughs, to make sure that we don't make so many errors we make in all aspects of the game, because we made them in all 3 aspects of the game. Again, as long as we learn from our mistakes and we continue to move forward and we continue to keep high energy and we compete, we'll recover from it.
Yeah, in a weird way, this one stuck with me on Saturday too. I was walking around and it's like, I'm just replaying plays in my head. I almost felt better coming out of this Tamaqua loss than almost a Jim Thorpe win, because that was a very good Tamaqua team.
Yeah, we held them to 3.8 yards a rush, and if you would have told me we were going to hold Tamaqua to 3.8 a rush for what they were doing, I say we win the game. We outgained them. I think at the end of the game it was 318 to 296, including the 85 at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So we outgained them by over 100 yards basically throughout the course of the game. For how many mistakes we made in the first half, we drove down before the half and had a chance to win a 50-50 ball in the end zone that would have tied it at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to get the drive off their mistake and get those key points in the fourth quarter, fairly late in the fourth quarter, to take the lead again. Had the big stop down here with the big sack by Shane and Marukas here, which seemingly turned all the momentum to us. Then we get the ball back and get a chance to finish, and we have a misalignment. We have a fumbled snap. We have Juju cramps and was on the field, and the clock stopped running.
Mm-hmm.
They would have never got to some of those plays had some of those things not happened.
Yeah.
Had the drop ball been a longer possession and longer play, and it was a weird sequence of events that led to the ending. But all you do now, it took me till Monday to get over it. It really did.
Yeah.
I'm still not over it, obviously. Yeah. But we have another opportunity against Bangor this week, and it's a game that we certainly could win, and I feel like we should win. And now this becomes a must-win situation for our kids in our program. Our backs are against the wall. The good thing is, this program made the trip down there last year.
Yeah, that's the thing that concerns us, is to ride down there.
Yeah, it's a long trip. It's a Friday afternoon traffic, and going through the Lehigh Valley. It's no easy way to get to Bangor Park if you've never been there before. But our kids were there last year. They understand what the trip's about. They understand what the environment's about, and they won the game last year down there. So I'm excited that we have a chance to go down there again and get ourselves back to 500.
I know we talked about the varsity team being young, but there is growth in the JV and junior high. They had a close one against Tamaqua, 20-14 this past week. So there's some up and coming players coming here, and hopefully we just get on the right side of that W.
No doubt. If you feel at the junior high level, they scored 28 at Shamokin. I feel like those guys are figuring it out, and they're understanding what's coming on. We have them in the weight room, so they're coming in there lifting twice a week.
Oh, great. Okay.
On top of their preparation on the field. JV guys, our staff shows great interest. Our varsity staff is at the JV games, making sure we're coaching those kids up, making sure they know the importance of JV development, to get our program ready for later in this season and certainly for next year. But those guys are working hard at those levels, and our guys are working hard at the varsity level, and they understand the importance of it. This one hurt, and that's good. And we want, we say, stress is your body's way of telling you something's important. Well, the way we reacted after the game Friday night, it's important to our kids. There were no pictures in the courtyard. There was no meeting in the courtyard. The kids got in, they got cleaned up, they left. The They didn't go out afterwards.
There's losses, I was on the bad side of it. We were up 28-0 in Williamsport on this field, and we lost that game. And I'll be doing the dishes someday, and they'll be, God, if I just would have, I turned up on a kick return right down there. If I just would have went down the sideline, the game's over. So
it was one of those games.
it's just one of those games,
certainly
unfortunately.
one of those games where you look back and you think, oh boy, there was countless opportunities for us to some way stop the bleeding throughout the course of the night. And you learn from it, and you learn from the pain.
Yeah.
And that's it. And this one really hit home on us, and our kids will battle back this week, and we will find a way to win this game.
Yeah, and I go back to our 1996 team, which finished 9-3 Eastern Conference champs. We started off 1-2, and I remember Coach Keating kind of just all you can do is 1 week at a time, and that's what I have confidence this team's going to do. Like I said, they've shown they're battled from from Shamokin to Tamaqua. I mean, Tamaqua could have put the game away here, and they stopped them and put us in position. I do have to call you out on something. You did lie to me. First week, you said, and we have to have trust here to have this show. You said you were done throwing headsets.
I used to be too fiery. I used to throw hats, and I used to break headsets.
You still got that, though. I saw you getting fired up.
I get fiery,
yeah.
but I'm more controlled and I'm more reasonable. So I stopped wearing hats, and I don't fire headsets anymore. I know.
I saw you throw a headset there.
I did throw a headset the other night for the first time in a long time. I don't remember the situation, but I did.
It was first half.
I did.
Yeah, it was a good throw. I mean,
guilty as charged.
Yeah, it was a throw as if like a pro.
It was one of those blackout moments. I did throw a headset, and I apologize for that, and I have to maintain my composure better.
It's okay. Emotion's good.
I do have to call you out for something.
Yeah.
All the pictures from last week's show were of Rudy Dermo, not of me.
So you weren't 78.
I was 79. Rudy
Oh,
Dermo.
well then they didn't give you much love.
Our guy Rudy got a lot of.
Well, he looked like a fierce
he was,
competitor. When you were saying about the other losses, I kind of was doing like a little bit of a. Are you referring to that 21-19 loss to Wyomissing? Was that?
I'm not.
Okay.
That was one of those end of the season. That wasn't one of those games.
Because that one was that was a trip to the state final, right?
It was.
At
It
Danville.
wasn't. It would have been Eastern final.
Eastern final,
week.
okay.
Yeah, but it was one of those games, and I knew that team in 2022 was good enough to make the championship game. But so was Bell Vernon, and so was New Montgomery, and so was Wyomissing. And it was a series of last possession games, last play games, that sent New Montgomery over to the championship.
Okay.
So yes, I did. That was one of those feelings, but it was a different feeling. But down at Chichester in 06, we had a safety cramp in a similar situation.
This is at Mount Carmel?
At Mount Carmel in Chichester in 06. And Mount Carmel grad, Pottsville kid, James Haynes, cramped up on the goal line. They threw a ball to a kid, I think his name was Kevin Smith, who went to West Virginia, got a touchdown pass on the last play of the game and beat us. And Matt Trinkle, some football enthusiasts remember this name, Allentown Central Catholic, tight end, went to William & Mary, caught a pass in the last play of the game on a 4th and 10 at J. Bernie Crum when I was at Mount Carmel, about 2001, I believe. Lost 17-16 the last play of the game. So on 2 separate occasions, I experienced what, and I told the kids that, the sun comes up tomorrow, kids are kids, and they have to learn that, because there's going to be a lot of bad things that happen in their life. That's part of what we teach. It's not just all about what happens here on Friday nights that people see. So listen, the sun will come up tomorrow. We will have more opportunity. We will have the opportunity to come together and build from this experience, this painful experience, and I believe we will. But I explained it to them that, listen, I've been through this before, and this is all part of this game.
Yeah, it is. You're going to be on the bad side of those losses. I know you said the sun comes up. Saturday was a cloudy day, and I'm thinking, oh man, the sun's not even out yet.
Yep, no doubt.
We actually had a bad game at J. Bernie Crum too. We played Deeriff on a Saturday night, and we were 4-1. That was my senior. We were 4-1 going to that game, and they just handed it to us. Saturday nights after that rain delays, that's always a tough game because you prepared the whole week, and then you just have that Friday night to kind of sit around, and Saturday you're sitting around.
Saturday night games are tough. I try to avoid them at all costs.
Oh, yeah.
When you have an opportunity to play a playoff game on a Saturday, you want to have it in the afternoon. First of all, it's a little colder that time of the year.
Yeah.
And so you want people there during the day. And people will come out during the day. Saturday night, there's weddings, there's college football. People get settled in. It's that time of the year.
Yeah.
So you want to try to avoid those Saturday night games. Because again, bad things.
Yeah, bad things happen on Saturday night.
Those nights, no doubt.
Okay, so after 3 weeks here, is there any players that have stood out to you that you're surprised, or not surprised, but you're really impressed with with what they're doing.
Yeah, I think, one that stands out to me is Braden Evans. I mean, captain, senior, is outstanding.
Just has a nose for the ball.
Yeah, outstanding defensively, runs around, make plays. He's your consummate linebacker and defensive leader. Avery Marukas has been outstanding.
Yep, yeah, you hear his name a lot.
We put him in the hawk spot, boundary guy, comes off the corner. He's really found a niche coming off the backside edge with the blitz game. Really played his best game of the year in terms of squeezing. It was a new position for him to learn. Staying square, squeezing, taking on blockers, being a great outside run support guy that also has the ability to run and play in coverage if you have to. So Avery's been an outstanding addition defensively. It didn't play a lot of football last year outside of special teams. And, we're really glad to have him and glad at what he's doing. Offensively, I mean, there's been so many guys, I mean, that have been consistent every single week. I mean, Juju is really, I think,
I love the way he's playing.
Yeah,
the way he's running.
He's become that physical runner. He's become that guy that is downhill, that is really reliable.
I like it. Old school, 20, 25 carries, just workhorse. I love it.
No doubt. I mean, those guys in particular stick out. I always talk about the offensive line and how proud I am of their development. I coach them every single day. Really excited by those guys in particular. All our guys, though. It's hard to point people out.
Yeah, of course.
I think those three right now have really come to the forefront. And oftentimes other guys have done certainly what you expect them to do.
You know what though? That's not a bad. Like I know when I'm sure when you play, when you hear, that steps up your game because you want to get to their level or and be,
We expect Cyril Curry to make plays. Yeah. We expect Christian Alvarez to make plays. We expect Tilo Fluker White to make plays. So it's like those guys have sort of have done their thing, and Jacob Filiak quietly does his job every week. We talked about Cole Cesari already. Brody Baddock, is arguably one of our best linemen at center. Those guys, I sort of grown to expect so much out of them that sometimes they're omitted from a conversation.
Yeah, of course,
this. But certainly Logan Kessler is just leaps and bounds improved over his film last year.
The players I hear, Mr. Keener announce the names. How nice is it? How soothing is his voice?
I don't even hear it.
Really?
I don't hear it on Friday nights. I really don't. I wish I did. I don't hear the band. I don't hear I guess it's all new to me here. I'm just trying to dial into what we do. It's a little cavernous.
Yeah, it is.
Coaching here. I'm not sure what everything seems far away here.
Yeah.
And that's not the same at every stadium. Some stadiums feel really compact and
it is. It's very spread out here.
It feels like when a ball is on the opposite hash, especially when it's inside the 25, it seems like it's in a different location. It's really different. So you really have to focus and concentrate here. Hard to sometimes even figure out where the ball is from field level.
One of Mr. Keener's greatest hit, it was after my time. I think it was Jim Thorpe had a player. His name was John Rambo. And he made a tackle on special teams, and Mr. Keener's on the loudspeaker said, "John Rambo draws first blood," which I mean that's a great reference. I mean he's a pro. Well, Coach, good luck this week, and thank you again, and let's bring home W.
Absolutely, roll time.